Hello everyone and welcome to the channel. Today I am starting another island challenge. I will be attempting to complete an island, so right from the start we meet Timmy and Tommy to hopefully a completely decorated island in just 48 hours. No, I am not going to be sitting here for 48 hours straight, but I will be recording with a timer every time that I play on this island, starting from 0 and going all the way up to 48 hours. And I will also be doing this without the aid of treasure islands. I am going to be attempting to do this all on my own. Can I complete an entire island in just 2 days? I don't know. Now you would think that seeing as I'm trying to finish this island so quickly that I would be rushing everything at the start to get through this as quick as I can. Well, you'd be wrong. I re-rolled quite a few times to find a good map. Because I want to do very little or no terraforming, I wanted to get the right island, and some of these were just not it. I ended up picking an island on my 3rd or 4th attempt. I was torn between the top left and the bottom right, but I ended up choosing the one on the top left. Honestly, all 4 of these maps were pretty good. But I went with the one on the top left because the cliffs weren't as chaotic as they were on the ones on the bottom right. And I do like this little area here that's kind of like a little island on the bottom of the cliff tops. I have my game set in September at the moment because I really like the colour of the grass and the trees at this time of year. Pretty happy with my native fruit of peaches and great starter villages too. I've got Ting Shang and Hazel, who is easily one of the best sisterly villagers in the game. I go and see Tom and I do all of the usual stuff. I place my tent and I get some sticks and some fruit. And then when it comes time to naming the island, I go with Sunflower. Because I'm trying to complete this so quickly, I'm going to be relying a lot on nature for decorating, so I really wanted a name that would fit the theme. So far everything is going good. I'm fairly confident at getting through the story part of the game really fast. I have done a 3-star speedrun in the past where I got to 3 stars in just 3.5 hours. So I was certain that this would be no different. Wrong. Just no. So the next day Tom wakes me up and gives me my moving fees bill, which honestly is kind of rude. So now I have to go around and get my 5,000 Nook Miles. I take a photo with my eyes closed, of course. I create a custom design. Edit my passport. Place 10 items. Access my phone 10 times. I go and pick all of my weeds. This unlocks Nook Miles for selling 50 and 200 weeds and selling your first item. I also grab some fruit to sell too, which is another Nook Mile achievement. I write on my bulletin board, talk to my villagers, and then I go and gather a heap of sticks so that I can make some tools. I then go into resident services to see Tom and I get the DIY workshop done. And then I see my buddy Timmy, I sell stuff, I buy stuff, I get all the things. I check out the ABD and I order my first item, which are gumboots. I honestly think these are the best shoes in the game. I always try to buy them in every single colour. And here we are 40 minutes in. I've got all of my Nook Miles, so I'm going to pay my moving fees. I always like to get that done first and then upgrade my house straight away. I then do a couple of random things and set off to catch some critters for the museum. I get all that sorted, I get the museum kit off Tom and I just place it next to resident services. I shake all of the trees first and manage to get stung in the process because I'm just that clever. I gather what stones I can to make some axes. I want to gather as many materials as I can at the start of the game to help myself later on. You need so much at the start for the shop, the first 3 plots, the bridge and the campsite. Because I'm doing this without using treasure islands, I'm going to be relying heavily on DIYs, so I want to make sure that I've got plenty of building materials. I also run around and do a couple of things to make some nook miles and get some bells. I make some tools and then at 1 hour and 22 minutes I was done for my first day on Sunflower. Okay, so it's a new day. I've checked my mail and now I'm just sorting out my storage in my house. My in-game mum has sent me some cherries. I collect my miles. I've deliberately set my birthday to this time so that I could collect 2,000 birthday miles. And now I'm ready to go off and start my day. I head in to see Blathers so that I can get the DIYs for the vaulting pole and the shovel, and then I go and see Timmy to get the ball rolling with Nook's Cranny. I don't know what I was doing here, but I hit one rock and run around and then just done some random stuff. And then I went to a Nook Mile Island. I just gathered some materials and then I was out of there. Back on Sunflower, I plant a heap of coconuts and then gather some shells. I won't always show it, but I'm constantly selling anything that I can find so I can make as many bells as possible. I run around, shake the trees and gather building materials. I do this a lot, like a lot. It's a bit boring, so we'll skip that part. So we're at 2 hours and 14 minutes and I'm finally ready to give Timmy the materials for the shop. Being the original girl that I am, I just placed Nook's Cranny right next to resident services. I plant some cherries and then I grab a Nook Miles ticket so I can go and grab some more materials. Ew, Marina. I still need to get a few more donations for Blathers, so I'll go around and do a quick spot of fishing. And then I think I'm all done when Blathers actually has the audacity to tell me that I have to go and catch something else because I'm one short. I sell a few duplicate fish to Timmy and I wanted to buy a wetsuit but it wasn't available. I swear you used to be able to buy it on day 2, correct me if I'm wrong. I couldn't even find one in Nook Shopping. I ended up having to use my Nook Miles to buy one. Anyway, that is the end of day 2 and now we're on to day 3. So it's the next day. I accidentally set the timer a few minutes early, so my bad. But I've checked my mail, got my DIY, and I've gone to Nook's to meet Mabel, sell some stuff and to see what's available. I go around and I do all of the things. I dig up my fossils, hit my money rock and plant my money tree. My cherry trees are fully grown, so I dig them up and clear an area on the other side of the island to make a little orchard. And then I go and do my most favourite thing ever. I collect more building materials. I've got my pockets filled with a heap of building materials and I head off to see Tom about the bridge. Once that's placed, I get started on the first 3 plots. I'm really annoyed at this point because I'm already at 3.5 hours. And previously when I had done my 3-star speedrun, I was almost done by now. And here I am with still only 2 villages. I feel like this is all just going so slow. Hopefully future me will thank past me for collecting so much stuff. Anyway, I let Tom know that I'm all done and I go and see who has autofilled the plots. I am not impressed. Al. Cookie, yeah, she's cute. Sky, fine. But Al? Honestly, what did I do to deserve this? Al has moved in. Yay. So fun. Not a great lot happened for the rest of the day. I seen Harv for the first time and then I started placing some item on the beach and putting up some fencing in preparation for my island raiding. I met Red, visited Elle, and then went to see what Red had for sale. I could not believe it that I managed to get a Valiant statue on his first visit. I will not be donating this to Blathers. I am definitely keeping this for myself. And then after all of that, you guessed it, I gathered some more building materials. I did some other stuff along the way too. I dug up my fossils and talked to my villagers. What I didn't do though was the customization workshop, and I forgot to do that photo thingy at Harv's Island. But by this time it was really late at night IRL for me, so I decided to call it quits for the day. So it's a new day, Cookie has moved in and there isn't really much going on. I hit my rocks, plant my money tree and go and get all of my fossils assessed. And for some unknown reason, I actually donated most of them. I could have sold them for bells that I really need, but I didn't because I'm a dumbass. I hit all of my trees for wood and then time traveled to the next day, once again forgetting to do the customization workshop with Tom. So Sky has moved in and resident services is going to get an upgrade, plus Leaf is here. First off, I run around and do some dailies. I hit rocks, plant my money tree and sell some shells and stuff like that. Then I go and see Leaf to do a bit of shopping. I buy some wheat and a heap of bushes. When I go to buy flowers, I get a heap of cosmos but didn't buy any mums. For some reason, I thought they were my native flower. They're not. Windflowers are. Anyway, I go and clear an area to plant everything, completely oblivious to the windflowers on the cliff behind me. I even went back and bought some more stuff from him, and I still didn't think, hey, maybe I should buy some mum seeds. I log on a little later on in the day and I finally go and do the customization workshop with Tom. I collect some wood and then I call it quits for the day. So it's now day number, I honestly don't know. Resident services is closed and Mabel is here for her first visit. I plant my money tree, dig up my fossils, and then I go and see Mabel so I can buy some ugly clothes because, you know. I move all of my coconut trees so all of my fruit trees are together to make it easier for me to harvest them. And I water my teeny tiny patch of crops. There isn't much going on around the island today, so I hit my rocks and trees and then time travel to the next day. Isabel is here. We are at over 6 hours and I am still not at 3 stars. I go around and do all of my dailies first so that they're out of the way. Daisy May is here, so I take the risk and buy 750 turnips for just over 78,000 bells. I go and buy from Mabel, who is here again, then I check out the ABD and I see Tom about the campsite. I get that built and then I time travel ahead to the next day. I set the time to about 11:55 so that I can keep an eye on the turnip prices, and then I have to go and meet Lottie because I actually totally forgot that I have HHP on this island. I don't think I'm going to use it though because it does take up a lot of time. Mabel is here for her third visit, so I go and see her and get the Able sisters all set up. I plant my money tree, hit my money rock, harvest some wheat, and then I time travel ahead to the next day. I go to see who my campsite villager is practically straight away and I am bitterly disappointed. Leopold. Ew. I check my turnip prices and they're at 135. I decide not to sell, which I would live to regret. Later on during the day, I log in and organise Leopold's plot. I hit the rocks to find my money rock, dig up my fossils and plant my money tree. I see Tom and grab a plot of land. I have one Nook Mile ticket in storage, so I get that and head off to a Nook Mile island. and it's a no from me. Even though at this point I really shouldn't be too picky, but here we are, I'm being picky. I time travel to the next day and Abel's is open. Turnips are at 148 bells, but I'm being a little bit greedy and I still don't sell. I check my plot and it's auto-filled with Sid. Not really having the best of luck with villagers here. I run around and I do a few dailies. Turnips go down to 132 and I still don't sell them. I buy another plot of land so that I can get my 8 villages, and then I time travel ahead to the next day. And then the next day, the best thing ever happens. Elle wants to leave. Sayonara, goodbye, never want to see you again. My happiness was short-lived though when I realised that my plot didn't autofill. Tom, do your job. I buy 1 Nook Mile ticket and it's Harry, and I can't do it, being picky once again. Spoiler alert, I lost half of my money on turnips and I'm not going to be buying them again. I go to another Nook Mile island and I hesitantly invite Eugene to live on the island because I need to get my 8 villages. Leaf is here again, so I go and buy a heap of things off him, go ahead and plant them, and then time travel to the next day. So now that Eugene has moved in and I have my 8 villages, I go in to see Isabel to check what my star rating is, but unfortunately I'm only at 2 stars. It was pretty late IRL for me at that time, so I decided to just save and quit and get back to it the next day. So first off, I run around and do a few dailies and I place some more items out on the beach. Then I remember that Elle left, and then I totally forget about it again. So when I go to check my star rating, it's down to 1 because now I only have 7 villages. So I go to another Nook Mile island and invite Goldie to move in, and then once again I need to time travel to the next day. I go to visit Goldie and I'm really confused about the grass colour and the fact that I didn't get a morning announcement. So I save and quit and then reload the game again, and the same thing happens. I finally cotton on to the fact that I was meant to go to a new month. So I actually went back to September 1st instead of going forward to October 1st. I finally get the time right and Isabel informs me that Nooks is going to be upgrading. I do a few bits and pieces around the island and then go check with Isabel. We're still only at a 2-star rating. I'm now at over 9 hours into this game. 9 hours and still no KK. According to Isabel, I need to do some decorating, so I get some DIYs from the ABD. I place a few of them around and put down some more fencing, just in case. And then finally, at 9 hours, 18 minutes and 27 seconds, we have 3 stars. I don't have any time to celebrate though because I've still got some work to do around the island. I see Leaf then pay off my loan and upgrade my house. I plant some more crops and flowers, and then I check in with Leaf again and he gives me the DIY for the hedge. I clean up the island a bit, do a few more dailies, and then I finally go see Harvardy's island, and I'm finally all done. Listen, that was a stressful 9 hours. I have 38 hours and 5 minutes left. Looking back as I'm editing this, I could have done so much better, but it is what it is. I'm pretty happy with how many bells and building materials I have, but I do need to try and get some more items. I gotta be honest though, I haven't played on this island since I recorded that first 9 hours and I have no clue what I'm going to be doing. But I do need to get more organised. 38 hours sounds like a long time, but it's really not. Can I get this island finished? I don't know. I'm gonna try though. But that is all for now. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you would like to see the rest of my 48-hour island. If you enjoyed this video, hit that like button. And if you made it all the way to the end, thank you for watching and I will see you next time. Bye! Hello, and this is part 2 of my 48-hour challenge. I'm Beck, and welcome to my nightmare. I don't know what possessed me to do a 48-hour island, but here we are. As you can see, KK is here because after a painful 9+ hours, I finally got a 3-star rating. If you want to see part 1, sub to my channel and go check it out. But enough of this, we've seen it all before. It's time to finally start decorating. But is it really? Is it really? I see Tom and I get the building app, grab my DIY and go and check out Nook's Cranny. Got a couple of good items too. I go to Resident Services and grab a few things from the ABD, and then it's time to look at some custom designs. I've already got a list of creator codes that I want to check out, so I head to Abel's to have a bit of a squiz. Some of these codes are just so cute and I'm really happy with the ones that I've downloaded so far. I will leave a list in the description below of all of the codes that I use in this video if you want to go and check them out for yourself. I logged on later on that day, but before I'd done that, I did change the date back to September, not realising I'd actually changed it to my in-game birthday. I was really confused when I first logged on. But I got through all of the festivities and then I went about my business and done all of my dailies. You know how I said in my last video that I need to be more organised? Yeah, well that doesn't really happen. I try to keep up with the routine, but everything just gets so chaotic and hectic it eventually just goes out the window. While I'm running around doing my dailies, I also go to Halves and start unlocking all of the stalls there. It's during this time that I see Hazel has a thought bubble and I'm like, ma'am, excuse me. She is my cutest villager. She is not going anywhere. I ignored her in the hopes that it might transfer over to someone else, but unfortunately it didn't. So I spent a bit of time traveling and getting all of the boring stuff done. I have Leaf and Cyrus unlocked at Halves Island, and then here we are. I'm finally ready to start decorating. I'm only 12+ hours into a 48-hour challenge and I haven't done anything really but make a huge mess. But whatever, that's fine. I'm going to be starting off with my entrance and I've decided to do a meadow theme. This was inspired by another island I seen on YouTube by Diana Daisies. I'm not sure if they post anymore, but I will leave a link to their channel in the description below if you want to go and check it out. But I remember ages ago Diana done a meadow themed island and I just loved it. It was so cute. So I took a lot of inspo from that for my entrance. I'm using all white flowers because I cannot be bothered trying to breed flowers. I really don't have the time. Plus the white flowers are my favourite. I just want to do a nice relaxing vibe, very cluttered still of course, but that is the beauty of using a lot of flowers and weeds as decoration. You can just walk right through them and they still fill up an area really nicely. I was naive though in thinking that because I'm using so many flowers that this area wouldn't take very long. That is an incorrect statement. I really dropped the ball there. It took forever. I have completely lost track of how many flowers I have planted by this point, honestly. I have no idea. I moved Nooks out of the way while I was doing this because it was getting in the way and I found it too distracting, plus it wasn't going to be staying there anyway. Here is the final entrance. Let me know what you think. I absolutely love it and I'm really happy with the way that it turned out. So I wasted a lot of time planting flowers and doing, I don't know, a heap of necessary but really boring things. And then I head off to a mystery island because I actually totally forgot that Sid asked to leave. I wanted to try and find someone who had a log cabin house and I ended up inviting Sydney. She does have a log cabin, but it has a purple roof. I'm just going to have to make it work. I didn't want to risk autofilling and end up with someone who has a really ugly house. Now here we are, finally on to the next build. While I was time travelling to grow flowers and trees, I moved Hazel's house to the left of resident services. I wanted to have some sort of path leading to her house and I was going to build her a farm. But it didn't matter how hard I tried or what I did, I just couldn't get anything to work. I was so mad at myself because I'd wasted so much time, and in the end I moved Hazel's house and decided to go with something else instead anyway. I also moved the museum and I decided to extend the meadow that I had built at the entrance, and then behind that I'm going to put a couple of houses where the museum was. So after doing some more time travelling to grow some stunted trees and clearing the area, it is time to get decorating. Because this wasn't what I had originally planned on doing, I was kind of all over the place for this area. I spent a lot of time chaotically putting down custom designs and trying to figure out what to put where. Because I have very little items and DIYs, I was feeling a little bit lost. But I think in the end it turned out okay. I continued on with the fence line and made a cute little sitting area and added in a vegetable patch. Planting all of the flowers was really boring, so I cut most of that out. It was just a lot of me running back and forth all the time. After I finished the front area, I cleared some space and marked out where I wanted some houses to go. Then done a bit more time travelling. I feel like that's all I do for this whole entire video. And I moved Sky's and Goldie's houses. I came across red while I was doing this, so I decided to time travel back and forth a few more times so I could get some more items. I got a few good items this way and a beautiful statue. I done this about 4 or 5 times and then I had to go and earn some bells because I was running out of money. But after all of that time travelling, the flowers here have grown and this is the final look. I really love how this turned out. Now I'm going to show you what I've done with Goldie and Sky's yards. I'm just going to do a quick before and after. This area only took me about 45 minutes to an hour and I'm really happy with the way that it turned out. Anyway, on to the next build, and if I'm ever going to get this island done, I really need to get my butt into gear. As far as the videos go, it does take a long time to edit, so sometimes it will be just a quick before and after shot of what I've been up to. But the next area that I'm working on is for Hazel. Behind Sky and Goldie, I'm going to build a forest and I'm going to put Hazel's house here. And we're going to pretend that Hazel runs a little bed and breakfast out in the woods. Here is the finished build. Let me know what you think. I really like the way that it turned out. Anyway, I logged on a little bit later and I time traveled to the next day. I did mess up the timer by just a few minutes, but Tiang Shang wanted to leave and I had a campsite visitor. I let Tian Shan go because I don't really like his house for this island. And my campsite visitor was Gonzo. He has a nice log cabin, so I bought a plot for him to move in. Plus, for a koala, he is pretty cute. Now, I'm not sure if I've ever spoken to Gonzo with the sound on, but let me tell you, his voice was a jump scare. When he spoke, I was like, because honestly, I always thought he was a lazy villager, but apparently he's a cranky villager. After about 10-15 minutes, he eventually decided to move in. I put his house behind resident services and decided to get right into decorating. I made him a little yard at the back so he can go fishing in the river. I really wish I had some more items though, like I don't even have a bucket. I don't even have the DIY for a bucket. Then in the front yard, I planted him a vegetable garden. I really wanted to put some vegetable baskets out as decoration, but not only do I not have any buckets, I also can't seem to find any potatoes. Leaf always seems to have everything but potatoes. I don't mind this build. I think it could have been a lot better with some more items, but I'm still pretty happy with the way that it turned out. So now that Tian Shan has left, I can go on a quick villager hunt. I bought 3 tickets for starters, but I didn't have any luck. I decided to grab 2 more tickets, and I'm so glad that I did because on my 5th ticket, I found Broccolo. He doesn't fit with the island theme at all because his house is blue, but he is my favourite villager of all the villagers. I was so excited to find him. I mean, look at him. He is so cute. For the last build of the video today, I'm going to finish off the main part of the island here. And just in case you missed it, I have officially made it to the halfway mark. Is the island half finished? No. Am I going to get the island finished? Probably not. But you know what? It's fine. It's fine. Now, the timer only goes up to 24 hours, so it has gone back to 0. So from now on, we're just going to have to pretend that it says the correct time. But let's get right into it. Alright, so there you have it. Another build is done. I'm going to do my best to get this island finished within the 48-hour time frame that I have set for myself. I need to take into consideration that I did spend like 9-ish hours at the start trying to get a 3-star rating, which I honestly don't know why I bothered with that because I'm not doing any terraforming anyway. The only reason why I needed the 3 stars was so that I could get the pathing app, and I have barely used any of the in-game pathing, so I really dropped the ball there. But there's not really much I can do about that now, is there? Yeah, I feel kind of really dumb for that, but you know what? I think with the time that I've got left, I should be able to finish the rest of the island now that I've had a good look at it. Yeah, so, we'll see. We'll see. But that is all for today. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. And I will see you next time. Bye! Hello and welcome to today's video. I'm 26-ish hours into a 48-hour island and I still have so much to do. The goal for today is to get all of the top tiers of the island completed. The first area I'm working on is the 3rd tier. Along the left, I'm going to build an inaccessible forest all the way along to the right. Then I'm going to put the campsite at the front of the cliff. But before I get into decorating, I had to run around and do a few dailies, and because Red was on my island, I went back and forth a couple of times to try and get some more items. But the first thing I needed to do was clear the area. Because I decided to use all white flowers on the island, I did have a lot of red and yellow ones that I had planted at the start of the challenge, so I decided to use them on the 3rd tier cliff. I have to dig them all up anyway, so I might as well use them. So as you can see, I'm just planting a mix of cedar and hardwood trees. It would have been a lot better if I had some stunted trees to use up along the top as well, because it would have made it look a lot more natural. But I didn't have any left and I didn't want to waste any more time to go time traveling. I placed some fencing along the front and plant a ton of flowers and shrubs and of course a heap of weeds. You can never have too many weeds when it comes to island decorating. And even though you probably can't see them, I also put down some custom codes. I feel like this area took me forever. I ended up having to go time traveling anyway because even though I had specifically planted a heap of trees just for this build, I ended up running out of them, so I had to plant some more and time travel ahead so that they would grow. I'm really happy with the way that this turned out. I'm glad that I decided to use the red and yellow flowers up here. I think with it being fenced off and not being able to get up here, it kind of gives it like a national park protected area type feeling because the flowers that are up here are not anywhere else on the island. So as you can see, I found the hair with the big bow, and yes, I did buy it in nearly every colour. Anyway, I had a campsite villager and it was Vivian. I decided to buy a plot and invite her to live on the island, but for the life of me, I could not get her to move in. She wouldn't do it. She said, "I'm not interested, you suck." That's the feeling that I got. It was kind of rude, honestly. I ended up getting a Nook Mile ticket and going to a mystery island. I found Azalea and really considered inviting her to move to the island, but I didn't, and I don't know why. So I grabbed 2 more tickets, I found Hans, and then I found Anka. I absolutely love her, but she does not fit in with the theme of this island, so I unfortunately had to leave her behind. So I decided to time travel and see who I would get. Turned out to be more of a pain than I thought it would be. I initially skipped 1 day, no autofill. Another day, no autofill. Skipped 3 days, still no autofill. So then I skipped 4 more days and my plot still hadn't filled with anybody. Sidebar, I got lucky with this money tree because I accidentally planted all of my bells and I was almost completely broke. I ended up going backwards nearly 3 weeks and it still didn't autofill. I was ready to tear my hair out by this point. And then finally, next in-game day, it said sold. Anyway, so along here I'm going to extend the forest along the top and place the campsite. I didn't really get any before shots, but this is what it looked like then. And this is what it looks like now. I'm working on the second tier now, and the first area I'm going to do is Annalise's yard. It turns out Annalisa is a horse. Is her name Annalisa or Annalise? I don't know. Anyway, I wasn't really sure what I was going to do with this area, so I decided to just wing it and figure something out. All I knew at this point was I wanted to make a diagonal garden on the left. Behind her house I made a small sitting area, and then I just started decorating randomly and didn't really know where I was going with this. I ended up having to do a bit of time travelling to find some bushes that I needed. I knew I wanted to use them in the diagonal garden somehow. So I planted some bushes, and then I had to time travel again. There was so much time travelling for this island. So much. Then I went back and did a little bit more decorating, and then I time travelled again. For some reason, I do not know. I really struggled with this area. I don't know why, but I eventually got into it and got the build done. I love these gardens. They are so cute and they are really simple to do. If you're thinking about doing a diagonal garden on your island, it is best to use the light dirt instead of the dark dirt. If you use the dark dirt, it does change the tone of the custom codes that you need to use for the corners, and then they don't blend in as well. I will leave the code for the grass corners in the description below. The creator does have all of the different colours that you need throughout the year. They don't blend in completely, but it does do a pretty good job, and then once you add in like fences and plants and decoration, you don't really notice it anyway. I was initially going to put the hyacinths with some sugarcane, but it didn't really look full enough, so I ended up swapping out the sugarcane for some bushes. Now, you didn't see it here, but I did time travel again, like 4 times. Once again, I'm not really sure why I was doing it. I did film this like 2 weeks ago, so I'm pretty sure I was just trying to get some more items and DIYs. But while I was doing that, I came across Red, so I did go back and forth a couple of times to see him. And I found the wheat field. I was so excited. I love the wheat. Who doesn't love the wheat field? It was struggle street at the start, but I did finally manage to get this build done in the end. The next area we're going to be working on is for Sydney and Cookie, and also this back area here near the campsite. The first thing I did was I went and moved their houses, and then for some reason for this area I built it all backwards. Normally I would have started at Sydney's house, then done Cookie's yard, and then the area at the back, but I started at the back. I don't know why. Anyway, at the back here I'm building a little market for Cookie to run. She's got all sorts of things here. She's got packaged food and she's got fresh food that she's made herself. I would have really loved to have added in some jam jars because they're really cute, but unfortunately I never did come across the DIY for any of those items. There is even a little vegetable patch at the back where Cookie grows all of her ingredients. I really love how this build turned out. I think it might be one of my favourites on the island. The next build is for Cookie's yard. Before I get started, I need to go and take her some medicine. I know she's not real, but I felt bad. So for Cookie's yard, I wanted to keep it simple but still have those cozy and welcoming vibes. I didn't really use that many items for this build. But there is a sitting area and a little spot for Cookie to go and do some painting. And of course, a clothesline. Such a good item. I just used a lot of custom codes and flowers and weeds to fill the area up, but still have it easy to navigate. I really love the way that it looks, and with Cookie's Market at the back, I think the whole area just looks so cute. The last area I'm going to show you for today's video is Sydney's yard. There wasn't really much space to work with here, so I ended up just building her a little flower garden and then filling in the surrounding areas. So that is all for today. Spoiler alert, I have finished my 48 hours. The question is though, did I finish the island? I guess you'll just have to subscribe to find out. Thank you for watching, hit the like button, all that stuff, and I will see you next time. Bye! Hello and welcome to part 4, or the last part I should say, of my 48-hour island challenge. We are halfway through hour 36 and boy do we have some work to do. Now I did forget to record an intro for this video, but what you're seeing here is I'm just running around placing all of the buildings and remaining houses to where I want them to go. So after doing some time traveling to get all of the flowers that I need, it is time to get stuck into it. I'm working on this area out the front of Nooks, and I'm extending the meadow from the left side of the island and following it all the way to the right. I do need to start off by cleaning up the area though, because this island is just a total mess. Anywhere that I have got spare space, I have got stuff dumped on the ground. I go through and I place the fencing, and then I chuck down some custom codes. In my opinion, custom codes can really make or break an area, but I don't really have any rhyme or reason when it comes to placing them. I just put them down anywhere. Just about everything I do actually is just completely random, and I make it up as I go along. But after placing a few bits and pieces and putting a few flowers here and there across the front, it is time to start planting all of the flower seeds for the meadow. This is really boring, so I'm just going to skip it so you don't have to watch it. And we're all done. The next area I'm going to be working on is Nook's Cranny. One thing I always love to do with the shop is to kind of make it look like they're getting a delivery or they're having a sidewalk sale or something like that. It is such an easy thing to do. All you need to do is place down a few codes and a few flowers. If you have the truck item, you can make it look like they're getting a delivery. If you don't, all you need to do is just put a heap of random items outside to make it look like they're having a sale. It is super easy and super effective. Now I'm just going to quickly show you what I've done with the cliff top here next to Nook's Cranny. I have just decorated it the same as I have done with the cliffs at the back of the island. I just kind of forgot that it was here and I didn't do it in my last video. Now I'm going to be working on the area here behind Nook's Cranny. I'm going to turn the pond into a small fishing area, and then next to it I'm going to have a community garden with a heap of random vegetables in it. During my many time traveling times, I came across the DIY for the scarecrow, which is going to be perfect for this build. Another item that would have been perfect for this build is the barrel. Unfortunately, for this whole entire series, I did not come across the DIY for that item. A travesty, honestly. A good garden or a farm build just isn't complete without at least 12 to 15 barrels. I did, however, find the wooden box DIY, which is another great item. I also added in some custom designs to the transition areas, but that was a little bit boring, so I cut all of that out. But I think the garden turned out pretty cute. Now, moving on to the fishing spot. I quickly plant a few flowers, but then I need to order some stuff and do, you guessed it, more time traveling. I also placed down a couple of extra pieces that I got for the garden area. But for this fishing spot, I just wanted to have a few random chairs and stuff like that. Just some things lying around to make it look like people were actually fishing here. I found the shop front at Nook's Cranny at some point, which I was really excited about. So I placed that down, and we're just going to pretend that that's a bait shop. Really happy with how this turned out, considering I didn't really have that much room to work with and it was kind of an awkward shape. I think the area still turned out pretty good. I've now moved on to the spot that is next to the vegetable patch. I'm going to be building a cherry orchard. I had this empty space here and I wasn't really sure what I wanted to do with it. I didn't have an orchard planned at this point, so I figured why not just put one here. I know I said in my last video the cliff tops were the only place on the island that I have red flowers. I kind of forgot about this. One thing I always like to do when I'm decorating with fruit trees is to colour coordinate. So if you have pears, use green. Apples or cherries, use red. In the past I have built an orange home business, I suppose you could say, for Tangy, and a peach cafe / shop for another villager. There are so many different items that you could use, and it doesn't even need to make sense. I mean, it's Animal Crossing. Nothing has to make sense. Plus, now that we have all of these food items, there are so many ideas that you could do. Apple picking, a juice bar, a fruit and vegetable store. You could even do a whole farm where it is dedicated to just one fruit. I would have preferred apples for my build, which honestly I think is the best fruit in the game. But I guess cherries will have to do. Before I started on the next build, I did have a bit of cleaning that I had to do, so I went and got rid of all of the flowers that I wasn't going to be using. Next is a before and after of the museum. I just kept it nice and simple and very quick because time is ticking. I'm now going to be working on this area here for Broccolo, and I'm going to be building him a playground. After downloading some custom designs and then going to Harv's Island, it is finally time to get started. I was so excited to work on this area. I was originally going to be building the playground on the cliff that is next to Nook's Cranny, but I couldn't find anywhere where I wanted to put an incline, so I decided to put it here instead. I really enjoy doing kidcore builds because it isn't something that I would normally do. I had the urge recently to do an entire kidcore island, so I started an island called Blossom, and I hunted for the cutest villagers. I built a really cute entrance. I spent days working on it, and then I was like, I'm bored, and I deleted the island. Honestly, I think I have a bit of a problem. The only time I can complete an island is if I'm making content for it. You know, if you've been around long enough, you know even then, I don't always finish it. Anyway, back to the build. I had so much fun doing this area. I loved using all of the bright colours, but it is a shame that I didn't have any hybrid flowers to put in here. I think some pinks and greens would have looked really good. but I can't complain about how it turned out. It's cute. Well, I think so anyway. I also done some work on Broccolo's front yard and the surrounding spaces while I was here. I cut it out because it was really just me running around, not really knowing what I was doing. It was all a bit of a mess, really. And here we have a before and after shot of what I've done with the Able Sisters store. I realised that I hadn't put my house anywhere, so I put it over on the peninsula and just done a few simple decorations. And now we have another quick before and after shot. This is the back left hand corner of the island. I didn't really know what to do here and I needed to fill up some space, so I built a construction area to the best of my abilities anyway. And now we are on to the last build of the island. In this area I'm going to be putting Eugene and Leopold. The only problem is that it is an absolute mess. So I get stuck into cleaning and I'm quietly panicking at this point because time is running out. Yeah, panicked. So I've cleaned most of this area up. I'm going to move these crops over to the left and build a little vegetable patch, and then, you know, we're just going to get stuck right into it. Now, when I tell you at this point I was freaking out, I did not think that I was going to get this island finished. There was just no way. I only had a small area left to do, but I did have to move 2 houses, so that meant more time traveling. And then I had to decorate. I mean, I had no idea what I was going to do for these 2 front yards. Not only was I running out of time, but I was also running out of items. It was just me panicking, like, the whole time. I was so tense. I was just sitting there like a little office goblin, staring at my screen, frantically smashing buttons on my controller, and then swearing at myself every time I made a mistake. And there were a lot of mistakes. I mean, whose idea was this? Who says to themselves, you know those Animal Crossing islands that people spend months and months working on? Let's build one in 2 days. I says that. That was me. Anyway, back to the build. I decided to use the mini cards for this area because I was really excited when I found them in my Nook shopping, but then I never actually used them anywhere on the island. I don't know how they got here. I don't know where they're going because there are no roads on this island, but like I said earlier, it doesn't have to make sense. So one house has a car with some groceries and stuff to make it look like they just got back from shopping. And the other house, and I mean the other house because I don't know whose house is whose, has a broken down car that they're working on. And I was really annoyed at myself because I didn't realise until it was too late that the houses aren't actually lined up. The one on the left is 1 space off, and there was no way I had enough time to go time travelling again. It really hurt my brain, but it is just going to have to stay that way. I was originally going to be doing a different build for this area. When Leopold first moved to my island, I was pretty annoyed about it, but someone in the comments mentioned how they had him on HHP and they built him a little bookshop, and I thought that was a really cool idea. I was kind of gonna steal it, but unfortunately I didn't find any of the book DIYs. I think I found the tiny library, but I didn't find the stack of books and I didn't find the bookshelf, so that idea didn't really pan out. So I was running around frantically decorating and planting flowers, and then I had to time travel a couple of days so that everything would grow. And then with 1 minute and 8 seconds to go, I am done. I completed an island in 48 hours. It's finished. I cannot believe it. Now, when I say I'm done, I mean I'm like mostly done, like 99.99% done. I do need to go around and clean up my beaches because they are still a mess, and I need to do my island flag. Spoiler alert, I used a custom design of a vegetable basket that I had already downloaded because apparently looking for a picture of a sunflower was too difficult. Anyway, the island is finished. I am so proud of myself for getting it done, and I just love the way that it turned out. It was super stressful and I could have been a lot more organised, but you know what? Sometimes it doesn't matter how you get there, as long as you get there. By the way, these island shots that you're seeing right now, feel free to consider this the tour of the island. I'm not really good at doing island tours, so ta-da! Here you go. But I will leave the DA in the description below if you would like to go and check it out yourself. If you do, let me know. I'm on Insta, I'm on Twitter. Yes, Twitter. I refuse to call it X. Feel free to @ me if you do happen to visit. But look, so I'm done. I'm going to get ready to start on my next island, so Sunflower is going to be deleted soon, and hopefully the idea that I have for my next project is going to work. So if you haven't already, don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will see you next time. Bye!